Hey everybody, it's Sensei Sid with Fields Karate. I have Senpai Danny with me again today. We're going to demonstrate another choke self-defense, an escape from a choke for you today. The one that we're going to show you today we call the Superman, and you'll see why in just a moment. But just a couple of reminders about these choke defenses. Remember that they're a serious thing. If someone puts their hands around your throat outside of a training environment, consider it deadly force. It's a very, very dangerous thing to be doing. And remember that you have about 7 to 8 seconds before you lose consciousness if someone really has pressure on your throat. So while 7 or 8 seconds isn't a lot of time, if you don't panic, it's actually plenty of time to get out of a choke 2, maybe 3 times even. The key to it is to make sure you don't panic. And the best thing you can do to make sure that you don't panic is to practice these over and over and over again until you don't really think about what you have to do to defend and to get out of one of these chokeholds, but it's just automatic reaction. If it's automatic reaction, you just do it without the panic. You skip that part of it. You can panic later. But you want to train so much and get so used to doing these that it just automatically comes. It's not something you have to think about, and certainly not something you panic over. But while we don't panic, it is very, very serious. So as you train, as you practice this, make sure it's with someone that you trust and who can do this seriously with you. If they want to play around and goof around with it, that's not a good plan because someone could very easily get hurt as we practice this. Now, to today's self-defense technique. Danny-san is going to choke again. Choke. And just like before, with my weak hand, I'm going to grab his wrist because while I want to get it off my neck, I don't want him to get away. Because remember, when someone presents deadly force, I want to make sure that they can't follow me when I take my leave. So I'm going to grab here. And I'm going to take my strong hand, and instead of coming over and under, I'm going to come up between his arms, and I'm going to punch straight up, and I'm going to turn my hips and my shoulders the same way. Okay? So that is very important. That is half of the technique. Now, bear in mind, as I'm doing this, I am not trying to hit him in the face. Okay? If you know how to make a good fist and throw a good punch, it won't hurt to do that. Well, it might not hurt you to do that. Hopefully it would hurt them. But the point is not to punch and actually strike them. You're punching straight up and put a little bit of pressure on. Okay. You're actually knocking the same side hand off, and you're using leverage to do it. You're wedging your shoulder between his hand and your neck. So as I do it a little slowly, it just peels off like that. So now I only have one hand that I'm worried about. This hand is still touching my neck, but it's not enough to cause any damage. He's not cutting off blood flow. He's not cutting off airflow. It tickles just a little bit, but it's not, this hand is not a danger at this moment. But this hand still is. So to take care of this hand, while I'm holding it, I'm going to look at his elbow. And I'm going to drop my elbow into his, and I'm going to just drop it straight down, and at the same time pull down, but hanging on with my left hand. And it strips it straight down. And you see how his head came forward, his elbow buckled, everything comes in. Now, the reason we want to hang on here and keep this pin tight to our chest is now I want to strike. And I'm going to reach out with the hand that I just peeled off with, and I'm going to step in, and I'm going to throw an elbow to the side of Danny Senpai's head. Now, an elbow to the head can very easily cause a concussion or worse. So, as you practice this, be careful. Do not hit your partner in the head. Okay? They will not appreciate it. And if you're the partner, don't squeeze on the choke. The more you squeeze, the more likely it is the defender is going to hit you in the head. Just as an FYI. So, to demonstrate again, Danny, if you would, I'm going to grab, punch straight up, and turn my body at the same time. Look at his elbow, and this is a kind of a hand-eye coordination kind of a thing, only it's an elbow-eye coordination. Wherever I look, my elbow is going to drop straight there. So I look at the bend of his elbow, drop straight down. And I don't have to try and drive him into the ground. just down to here. I don't want to bend over. I want to maintain my posture. And then I'm going to keep his hand pinched to my chest, reach out, and I'm going to step in slightly and ram my elbow right into his head. But again, only when you have to do this for real. Just training, don't hit your partner in the head. You could cause some serious damage. Okay? So, one more time, just for demonstration's sake, grab, punch up, drop the elbow. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is called the Superman, and this position right here is why we call it the Superman. If you've ever seen the comic books, this looks familiar. But just as an FYI, this is why we call it the Superman. And then we drop down, reach out, and the further you reach out here, the harder your elbow is going to be. If you come here and just reach halfway out, your elbow is going to be weaker. So reach out as far as you can, lean your shoulder out just a little bit, and then step into that elbow, and you're going to crack them in the head pretty hard, and it's going to be enough to cause a concussion. And if you can cause a concussion, they're probably not going to chase you. Now remember, once you get their hands off of them and you have a chance to run, unless you have a really good reason to continue that fight, as in you have someone else near you to protect and you have the skill to do it, get out of Dodge. Don't hang around. Someone who has just tried to take your life, if you give them a chance to do it again, they probably will try again. You don't want to take that risk. It's not worth it. So remember, make sure you win your fight. And that's what this is. It's a fight, but it's a self-defense situation. Win your fight, and you win your fight by getting away. Okay? That's the point behind all of this, is getting away. The point here is not, for me as the defender, to beat Danny up. That's not how I win my fight. I win my fight if I can walk away on my own power. So if you can get away, then get away. But you do want to make sure in this process that they can't follow you. Because if they try to take your life once, they very well could try it again if you give them the opportunity. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been clear. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd be glad to talk about this a little bit more with you. But again, find yourself a good training partner, someone who takes it seriously and who can do this in a very controlled manner. And make sure you maintain control. You can easily hurt someone with this. But practice it over and over and over and over and over again. Repetition is going to build the reaction. And if you have a reaction of doing one of these techniques anytime someone puts their hands around your throat, then that's what you're going to do when the situation arises, and you're just automatically going to do it. We call that muscle memory. And if you have that muscle memory and you have that automatic reaction, you're going to do it before you have a chance to panic. And remember that panicking is the absolute worst thing you can do in one of these situations. That's what eats up all your time, because you have 7 or 8 seconds. But panicking is going to be what hurts you more than anything. So don't panic, but practice this enough that it becomes a natural reaction. So practice this, train with it. Thank you for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.